So I'm going to start off by throwing some chucks. I like to keep some chucks in my classroom for my students to use, and the chuck is always, the centered clay is opened all the way to the bat, so it has no base in it. So this really is two-sided. It could be flipped over in either direction. I keep the base wide, narrow it in, and then allow it to flare back out at the top. That way it will help to nestle and hold a little narrow-necked form. I like to have them of various sizes, even like for miniature sizes, because my kids throw a mini project as well as a vase project. So in doing this, I just like to have them on hand. I fire them. However, if you are making chucks, you can certainly keep them leather hard, which is very nice because if they're leather hard, they're a little bit softer. It's closer to the, um, the moisture of the clay, and it's helpful because it's it holds it, it grips it a little bit more, like it has it almost a slightly sticky quality when leather hard touches leather hard. But in the case of these, I bisque fire them and I just keep them on hand in my classroom for my kids. Previously, I showed how I threw these little chucks, and I have them in varying sizes in my classroom studio and here at home. And a chuck can be fired, and then it's ready and on hand whenever you need it to trim something like a narrow-necked form. So there is a video that I did a while back of the Wallace pottery footer, which is a really cool tool. No doubt it's very cool, but you can make your own chuck, and it costs you only pennies. So let me show you how I do this. So you can keep a chuck in place just by using the traditional lugs. You know, you put the chuck on and put lugs around it. Or if you have the luxury of having something like a Giffin Grip, a trimmer, the Giffin Grip does work great for holding chucks like this. So this is the Giffin Grip Mini that I'm using. They gave me one of those at Pacifica back in 23, so I could do some videos with it. And they of course have the different arms here. And then you put the chuck in place, and it will hold it snugly in the center. Okay. So make sure that that's good. All right. Now, when going to trim a form like this, you can trim it just like this, but sometimes it rocks a little bit, especially because I decided to make the dents on the side because I like those as a finger grip. So what I'm going to do is just put a little coil around the exterior of it to help hold it in place. All right, so before I put the coil on, one of the things that I like to do is I like to make sure that it does look level. So if you get your eyes down level with it, that helps, because if it's crooked, you're going to be trimming it crooked. So once I have it level, I'm just going to take this coil and kind of snug it in there. So it's doing the same thing that, lugs would if you have a bowl upside down or something and you're going to trim using lugs. Okay, so that kind of holds it. Now, another little tool that I'll show you, which is kind of fun, and at school I just use bottle caps. So this is just oh shoot, who is this? I think this is, yeah, this is Diamond Core Tools. They have these little spinner trimmers. I like this because you can put your finger right on there and it spins on your finger, so it's not creating a lot of friction, which is nice. And for trimming away something like this, I'm a fan of using a shredder to take off the majority of what I want, and then I'll go back in there and I'll clean it up with a trim tool. All right, so I would say that this definitely added a little bit more grace to this form by just, you know, elongating that, making it a little bit more graceful going to the table. I always tell my kids, you don't want it to look like it's growing out of the table. So just by adding, you know, that slight bit of undercut, it helps. Now this is one of the diamond core trimmers. Of course, in my classroom, I don't have diamond core. I have just regular old Kemper trimmers, but I like to use this one in my class or in my home studio. This is a T8. I like a big broad one sometimes, especially for stuff like this. I want to make sure I get all the shredder marks gone. And then where it's transitioning, where this down here close to this dent, this might require a little bit of ribbing here, just because where the dent is, it does have a slight bit of an angle change. So I'm just going to flex that around the corner. So yeah, if I can recommend to anyone, if you have the throwing skills, make your own chucks. Now, some people like to use leather hard chucks. I think leather hard chucks are great. They're just not the most convenient thing to keep in my studio, so that's why I bisque fire them. So there we go, and then I will use my little sponge. This is one of the mud tool sponges. I like these because they have this nice fine kind of a surface to them. All right, there we go. Now I can take this coil off. And definitely much lighter. I still have a little bit of an angle right there. I'm just going to transition that. Again, that was my issue, was because I was denting it. So I have to just kind of make sure that I smooth that transition so I don't have a weird little angle where I didn't want it. And that's using a homemade chuck for trimming bottle forms. So hope you enjoyed. Drop me any questions that you have below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, everyone.